Hello everybody, my name is Benji, and welcome back to Dyson Sphere program. You'll notice that there is a little bit of something here that was not here last time. So let me give you guys a brief overview of what exactly happened last time and in between episodes. Last time we ended with these two smelting lines giving us some iron and some copper to work with and handcraft with. In between episodes, set up this magnet smelting line for much the same purpose, and I set up a tiny little main bus over here. So we've got our basic materials like belts, inserters, power poles, and wind turbines and the like, which we're going to be using to expand and actually make a legitimate temporary setup until we eventually get to, wrong button, the planetary logistics systems, which gives us the planetary logic station and the logistic drones. Like I mentioned in the previous episode, everything we do up until planetary logistics is going to be temporary crafting. But first, we actually need to queue up some research and get a research facility moving. That's going to be the main idea for today. So first of all, I want this high-efficiency plasma control because it gives me the wireless power tower, which gives me power in order to charge myself, as well as giving me the ability to have long-range power transfer. So we're going to do that. Next up, we're going to do the electromagnetic drive, which gives us motors. So let's go on ahead and do that. Then we're going to do fluids. And fluids should allow us to do some basic chemical engineering, or not. That also requires steel, so we're going to get rid of the fluids from now. We're going to grab thermal power, smelting purification, steel smelting, and improved logistics. And then we'll come back down here to fluids, and eventually we'll be able to do the chemical engineering. The plasma refining we'll go on ahead and do. The energy matrix is the red cube, and we have our queue currently full. We'll see what that gives us once we actually get some things online. I need more fuel. I do still have my fuel over here. Woo, that was a bit of lag. So I am currently downloading something in the background, which is probably why my game is lagging ever so touchly. So we want just some basic rudimentary science right now. And I already have an area picked out for this. There's a nice, if I can actually do it, there's a nice little area here. There's some crude oil up here we can use for red cubes, but we'll get to that in the future because we don't actually know how to craft those. I have some knowledge on how to craft those, you guys don't. But there's crude oil here and here, which is good for the red cubes. And then there's iron and copper here, which is good for the blue cubes. So we're going to be making that all right here. And we're going to start off with the fact that the blue cubes, if we look in here, need these copper magnets and the green circuit boards. So we will get those done in terms of these need magnets and copper, and these need iron and copper. So I'm going to double check my ratios, and we're going to go on ahead and get started with all of these lovely metals right here. Probably smelting them here. I should have enough room. If not, I can move the smelting to over here, and then the main everything else over here. But let me double check my actual ratios, and I'll get back to it. So I have double checked my ratios, and we're going to need a full belt of iron and half a full belt of copper. So I don't know, I do have all of my blueprints, but these are all for later. None of those are early game blueprints. So what we gotta do is come over to here, and we can copy this setup right here. Just by doing that. Use now. And like I said we should be able to do, we can in fact just go on ahead and put this right there. I apparently do not have enough smelters, but that is perfectly fine. I can open up my replicator. I should have enough materials to just go on ahead and do that. 5, we need more than 5, so I'll go on ahead and craft all the rest that we need. And then we actually don't need either of these sides here. We only need the iron side, not the copper side. And now we can run all of the iron together. Assuming that works, that does not work. So we're actually going to want this to connect there instead. Get rid of that. What's the button? I thought the button was Q to pipette something, but I guess not. And then we do that. And bring this up to here, like so. We can connect these guys into the grid using wind turbines, so we're going to go on ahead and we're going to do that. This should work. It's just going to take a hot second to actually place everything. Yep, that did in fact work. And then we can come over here. I actually need some of these, and I don't have enough stuff. Blech. Blarg. Curse the need for more resources. More resources, more resources, more resources. Now let's go on ahead. Let's make 10 of them because we can. We're running out of energy as per usual. Why is it not crafting them? Oh, it's crafting gears first, that's why. So essentially this is just kind of what I do between episodes. I wait for the bots to craft all of the stuff that's happening as you see it here. And that's really about all I do, actually. That quite literally is all that I do. Ooh, but hold on a second. I'm stupid. We don't need these. I mean, we do, but we don't. We need those guys. And then this is going to need to take a step back. And we're going to need 5 of them specifically for magnets. 2, 3, 4, 5. And we wait for them to go out. Select the magnet. Copy it. Paste, 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 and paste. And then we can run this belt back behind, like so. And then we can run a belt in the front, like so. And now, as soon as these get built, like that and like that, now we can do this. Well, we'll have to do that again later, but for now, that's fine. And my power grid is currently taking a shit. Next, what we need to have happen, which I need more of these, is we need to design the actual buildings, which we only need 4 total buildings for all of these 3. Also, these need to be moved. I'm going to move them back here. That yellow flashing that you see every single time that I go into my power grid means our satisfaction, or our production rather, is not meeting our satisfaction. Which just means that we need more wind turbines in our wind turbine farm, which is up in there. How close are we? Not even close. So at this point, what's going to happen is I'm going to build all of this, and then I'll bring you guys back, and we'll see what happens next. Alright, all the current building has been completed. We actually have some factory buildings now, and we have a little tiny amount of space here. So I think what I'm going to do is bring the belts over just a touch. That way I can have things like this going on. And I can have... yeah, this'll do quite nicely here. So let me go on ahead, get rid of that. Like so. And like so. Just get these belts over. And then we need copper magnets and electronics circuits. That's the wrong game, but still. So we need the magnets and the copper. Ah, see, that might actually be a problem. Yeah, that very well may actually be a bit of an issue here. Because of the fact that it's so far away. I really wanna... nah, it's fine. We can upgrade it later, it'll be fine. We can upgrade the inserters later, I mean. And it'll be fine. And then we'll do that. And now we will have 2 belts going this way to some labs to actually make the science cubes that we are using. And we can just go on ahead and put those science labs right here. This should run 9 labs. So we can do this. And then we can upgrade it later. Make it the blue matrix. Just like this. And then bring these both over, like so. It doesn't want to let me do that yet. Do this, and then this. Sorry, F4. No, it must match. 3 F4. Like so. I was gonna say, I should be able to put that there. And now we need an outbound line. Just right here. And we're gonna need some more. They're called inserters, or no they're not, they're called sorter arms. They're called inserters in Factorio, and I've been playing a lot of that in my off time. So we'll have that outbound line, and then we'll have more red science stuff happening there. So we're gonna go on ahead and put these, I don't know, how about with 3 lines of space? Just like this. How about that? Because we'll get the yellow science cubes in here as well. And then that'll be the red whenever the red's ready to come in. And then we need to set this to research. I reorganized some of the research queue to ensure that we would actually be able to have enough of a research queue. Oh, I don't know if that'll work with 3. Will this work with 3? Because we'll do that one, and then there will be another one and another one. So these guys need to be offset from one another. Like this. That way, this guy can get one, and this guy can get one. Just like that. Yeah, there we go. That did it. That did it. Also, I figured out the pipette. Alright, and now we just need to make sure that all of this gets powered. And we can do that pretty simply. At least, so I thought. There. Have one on either side. Like that. And now this all should, in theory, work once I hook in all of the sorters to get the green circuits and the copper magnets on their way. There we go. Blue science cubes. They are moving and they are grooving. Just like that. And then the labs will begin taking their fair share, and we start with the smelting purification. Smelting purification is extremely important because, as you noticed at the beginning of the video, I am running out of fuel left and right, and it is so obnoxious to just run out of fuel, run out of fuel, run out of fuel. I'm so tired of having to deal with running out of fuel. It's actually ridiculous. I really dislike running out of fuel. So what we're going to do is we're going to move over to our little coal vein here. We're going to add in another one of those guys. We're going to need to take this guy away and start putting more coal in this. And now we can take our remaining 3 smelters, just right here, and we can get this ready to begin. And then we'll go on ahead, we'll copy that, put it there. I said, put it there. Like that. Now we can select energetic graphite, which gives, it essentially turns coal into this energetic graphite stuff, and it gives us more energy for our coal. Also, I said that's essentially what it does. No, that's literally what it does. Like, there is no other way to describe it than that. That is exactly what it does. Now we can get rid of that. I don't know if I can make this a flow valve at all. It doesn't look like there's a way for me to make that a flow valve. Which is fine. This will work as it needs to. The next thing up on our list is the steel smelting, which we'll have to set up something for steel smelting. Which is just iron plates being smelted into steel. I might honestly have kind of an idea for how to deal with things that take steel, which we don't actually have any unlocked yet. The stuff that takes steel is stuff like the fluid things. No, not even that. That doesn't even take steel. Does this take steel? No. These do. These take steel. The plasma refineries take steel. And so do the chemical plants. So essentially now we're waiting for this to start, or rather finish, our research. As you can see, we used a ton of belts there, so we're going to go on ahead and collect the belts that we had. Steel smelting is now complete. And from here, I think we can start legitimately working on a main bus. And starting to get a legitimate mall sorted and up and running. Like I said, everything that we do is going to be entirely focused upon getting to the planetary logistic system. Everything. So, what do we need for this? Requires magnetic levitation technology. That requires this, which requires red cubes. Red cubes requires plasma refining. I can't use the X-ray cracking cheat to get red cubes immediately. I have to do red cubes the dirty way first. That's sad. Oh well, that's fine. So we're going to go on ahead and queue all of that up. We don't really need any of that as of yet. And then we will eventually need red cubes. So yeah, I think the last thing that we're going to do for this episode is going to be starting to set up a legitimate main bus. So once that is kind of ready to go, this space is cleared, I will bring you guys back in and we'll take a look at what we've got. And just like that, we have the beginnings of our main bus. So magnets are not actually used for any crafting recipe with the exception of the copper magnets. Copper magnets are what is used in everything else. So we don't actually need to have magnets on our main bus at all, which is fantastic because that's less space to take up with belts on our main bus. So we need these to output onto belts. And then we're going to follow essentially the same pattern that we had going on, where we've got belts going down the middle, or going down the two sides. And then we have everything else happening in the middle. I'm also getting just stuff back to back to back to back to back, so that's fine. So essentially how this works is I take a look at whatever's going on. Also, I need to... Oh. This is where we get belts number 2. Never mind. Never mind, never mind, never mind. I'm stupid. It's fine. I'm stupid. So I look at essentially the different groupings. So logistics is one grouping. Conveyor belts, sorters, and splitters are one grouping. I never used the traffic monitor because I don't really care that much about super efficiency until later. And we might get into it a bit later. So first up is belts. Belts require, we'll take a look, plates and gears. Gears are made out of iron. Then iron is also used in a lot of things. So there's no point in us having a specific belt for iron gears if iron is also a major component. We just do this instead. And that works perfectly fine. We take a power pole, we put it there. After that was splitters Mark 1 and 2. Wrong. Let's just go on ahead and put a whole bunch of these guys down. So splitter Mark 1, I think is actually really simple. Yeah, splitter Mark 1 can literally just go here. And then we'll need... yeah, we'll make one splitter Mark 1, and then a splitter Mark 2. And splitter Mark 2, you'll notice, also requires motors, so we'll take motors. And then motors take gears, so we'll take gears. And then we need to extend these. We don't need any copper, so we can delay the construction of that belt for now. Oops, wrong. No, don't shift-click the whole darn thing. Get out of my screen. I wish it would go away after a certain period of time instead of just hanging out. So now, we're going to need... I'm not going to take up the middle slot. We're going to need electronic circuits and iron plates for this guy. And then we'll need the same thing for this guy. And then this one has to come in here. Motors also have to come in here. Gears also have to come in here. Motors require the gears. Iron plates. Gears require iron plates. And the motors also require that. And now we can take this, put it here. We cannot take this because it needs foundation support. Uh-oh, that's a problem. Can we resolve this problem? The answer to that is more than likely a yes. So we can have an output onto a belt, have the belt travel around, and then that'll fix our issue. Yeah, that'll fix our issue just like that. Then we can put that there, and that should get everything working. We put iron plates into the gears, gears into the motors. Motors are getting their gears and their copper magnets. And this is getting its inserters and its motors, just like that. What's wrong with you? What's your problem? Oh, I gave you I gave you copper magnets instead of electronic circuits. That'll definitely cause a problem. And now we have inserters Mark II, or sorters Mark II. And the last thing in terms of logistics is the splitter, which is just gears, plates, and electronic circuits. So we can take a look at this and see how its gear ratio is doing. Oh, its gear ratio is fine. We can take those gears and just put them straight into this thing. Just like that. No questions asked. Put that there. Run all of these belts all the way down. And then put the electronic circuits in. Put these guys in. And put these here. Perfection. So that's essentially what I'm going to be doing for the entirety of the build here. I'm literally just going to be going down all of the different machines. Like, I'll end up doing the assembling machines probably next. We'll end up doing the thermal plant and all of this stuff when we get the stone and glass involved, which is going to be a pretty fun little mix of everything. Actually, I wonder if anything even needs copper. I could just straight up get rid of the copper belt. The only reason why I might not want... Cannot make an air replicator? Oh, sorry, I'm looking at a different screen. I don't think the copper is actually used for anything raw, so... we could potentially just stop the copper here. Bring in the stone and the glass on this side and just have that work its way down. So let me quickly explain my idea. I'll just do a rough... I need some of these. I'll do a rough demonstration over here. So you'll notice that some of these require steel, and we don't have a steel belt. Now, these don't require iron. Everything that requires iron we'll make first, and then we'll move on to steel afterwards. So my idea is to just put the steel, like, furnaces, smelters, whatever you want to call them. I'm messing up my words. Just put these, like, way over here, and then have them take from the copper belt, and then put back onto the copper belt as steel, or put onto a different belt and have it wrap around as steel, or even just put it straight in the middle like this, with all of these guys, and just see how that goes. But at this point, that's all I have to show you guys. I'm going to finish up the rest of the bus, probably wrap it back around in some way, shape, or form, and start zigzagging it this way and this way, and just get all of our stuff ready to be crafted. And then I'll show you the final piece, and wrap up from there. Really quickly, I'm bringing you guys back in so that we can choose ourselves next pieces of our research. So that takes red cubes, that takes red cubes, that takes red cubes, red cubes. This does not, but I don't know if we need this for anything. We'll do it anyway. Deuterium requires red cubes. The proliferation is actually going to be really interesting, and I'll show you guys what proliferation is actually going to do for us momentarily. I will also do the processors. Then we can do solar collection for solar panels. Red cubes, red cubes, red cubes. Environment modification isn't super important yet. It will be, but it's not yet. So we'll go on ahead and do that. And then that should be everything for blue cubes. We'll head over here to our research. Allows you to view the veins in the whole planetary system. We'll go on ahead and queue up that. That's red cubes. And then we just need a bunch of basic stuff. I am going to do one more construction drone, even though it's going to just really add to everything. Energy circuit is actually going to be super important. So I'll get that next, and then we'll do drone engine flight. and probably the mass construction, and that'll just be it. What is this? Whoa, what is this? It's calculated in the recent 1 hour production of matrices per minute times cluster multiplier percent. I have no idea what this is. At the matrices yield per minute, metadata can be used in the next game to buy out technology directly. What? That's weird. Alright, I'll do some research on that, because that sounds a little too complicated for my liking right now, and we're at over a half hour. So yeah, I'm definitely going to finish up this bus and then bring you guys back in. You know what the research is going to be happening, so I'm just going to boop it. Alright, that took, like, way longer than I thought it was going to, but we are officially finished with the main bus that will be getting us through up until we get to red science and the planetary logistic systems. Eventually we'll get to the interstellar logistic systems, but we don't really need a whole ton of stuff for the interstellar logistic system at first. That'll essentially just be for transitioning planets, which we will eventually be doing. I went on ahead, I went through all of our upgrades, just like I said I would be doing. Eventually, we're going to get to here. The drive engine requires Mecha Core level 2, which requires red cubes, and so on and so forth. So next episode, we'll be doing red cubes, but for now, let me give you a bit of a tour. We have our normal iron, copper, iron storage, and magnets, all being produced here. We have some extra iron because it was running a little low, so I went on ahead, tapped that vein, and went on ahead and did this. Gas giant. Ooh. We've got all of our logistics items, production, mining, all of our power items, which I'm actually going to take some of these. Some storage items, smelting, more power generation, our water pumps and matrix labs, and then we have a steel production site being done over here because we needed steel. And then we have all of our oil-related processing right here. So the next order of business for next time is going to be primarily red cubes. Oh yeah, also we went on ahead and upgraded our power supply with these thermal guys. We are turning the coal into energetic graphite, which is then going into this, which is perfection. We'll eventually be proliferating that. I'll explain that later. But our next order of business is going to be taking... what's that one? 2.74. This one's 2.27. And we don't have a ton of space in either location. So we're going to be using this vein here. This vein right here. We will be using this vein to do our red science, and then we will eventually be moving on to getting the rest of our plastic and hydrogen and all the good stuff components, like the graphene and whatnot, later. But for now, that is everything. So, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed Dyson Sphere program. It's always a lot of fun. But without further ado, adios, sayonara, au revoir, hasta la vista, das vidania, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, and goodbye. Please have yourselves all a fantastic rest of the day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, y'all. Oh, yeah, by the way, this video's in the bag. Don't forget to stay hydrated. Now, later, y'all.